Aside from the actual performance of the car, one of the things that makes a car way more enjoyable is good sound system. And if you've ever been in a WRX or an STI, you know that these factory systems aren't the best. So let's fix that. Now, I'm not a big audio nut, but what I have here, I believe, will be a substantial upgrade from the factory system in the STI. This isn't anything crazy, I'm not adding any amps or anything, but should give us a nice little bump in sound quality from the factory speakers. And when we pull out the factory speakers in this thing, you'll understand exactly why this sound system does not sound the best. Now, one of the most popular upgrades for the head unit in these cars is going to be this Idoing head unit. It's a full Android head unit with a massive screen. This is like a 9-inch screen or something like that. And what's cool about it is it comes with basically a factory bezel replacement. So it should all snap in and look OEM, which is kind of cool. The screen is actually built in to the bezel, which you can kind of tell. When it comes to speakers, a company called Kicker makes these upgraded plug-and-play speakers. We have both the door speakers as well as the tweeters in the dash. Like I said, I'm not much of an audio nerd, but I do know that I don't want to do a bunch of wiring, which is kind of nice with this setup because it should be all plug-and-play. I'm not going to be adding an amplifier or anything like that, but I think that this setup will be a substantial upgrade over the factory system. So let's get into it. The Idoing unit is actually made to work with almost every single one of the Subaru makes out there. So it works with the WRX, the STI, the Forester, the Outback. So you get a bunch of cables, which honestly, half of these we probably won't even be using. I know that this piece we won't even be using. We have stuff for a SIM card, which I'm not going to be using just because I don't really want to pay for another SIM card. We have the GPS, which I will be using. We also have the microphone, which I will definitely be using. And then you have all of your USB cables for your CarPlay and Android Auto, even though this does come with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. And then all of your various plugs and adapters that go to the factory harness. So I want to start with the head unit because I think this is going to take the longest. So we got to start by removing these top vents. I always feel like I'm breaking something when I do this. Ah, bro, I don't like doing this. I don't like pulling on this that hard. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. There's two 10mm bolts up top, and then there's one on either side that we're probably gonna have to remove the glove box and some panels over here, and then this whole thing should just pull right out. I just used an impact because when I was wailing on it with the wrench, I felt like I was gonna snap these two little tabs off back here, and so using an impact uses a little bit less like leverage to bend them. So you don't really need an impact, but I just did it because I didn't want to break anything. So like I said, there is another screw down there behind the glove box, and there's one more screw up underneath the steering wheel. I'm not going to film it because I'm not going to be able to get the camera back there. I'm just going to go ahead and get the factory unit out. Just like that, it does pop out. So as you can tell, we've got some pretty big differences between the two units. This one is the factory unit. We will have to move over this telematics or telemetry unit. It's on a lot of the newer, I think the 2018 and up STIs, but it basically controls the front speakers and the Starlink and all that stuff. So we will have to swap this over to the new unit. Everything will be plug and play. I'm gonna have to do some work with all these wires and make sure I'm using the correct wires because like I said earlier, we have a lot of wires that we won't be using just because this is a kit that works with a lot of different models. So I've got pretty much everything routed. I got everything transferred over to the new head unit, including the telemetrics or telemetry box, whatever that's called. We have our antenna, backup camera, USB cord, this is for GPS, and then our microphone. So now comes the challenge of getting everything plugged back in without scratching anything or breaking stuff. This is our antenna, our GPS, this is our microphone. Done. Okay, one thing that I want to do before I fully put this back into place is I want to key on the car and make sure that everything works. So, look at that. Okay, let's make sure the hazards work. They work. Let's make sure this works. Works. Let's make sure AC works. Yeah. Next biggest thing, reverse camera. There we go. Nice. Check that out, it's all in, all done, ready to go. That screen is so much bigger than the one that comes from the factory. I also like how this is the flat black as opposed to the like piano gloss black that comes from the factory. Now, the last step we have to do is probably the easiest part of this whole thing is getting these speakers in. We have speakers in all four of the doors as well as the tweeters in the dash. It should be fairly straightforward. All I gotta do is pull the door cards off, and then there's 3 screws holding each of these speakers in. And then after that, we get all the door cards back on and fire the system up. Door cards are pretty easy. There's a Phillips screw here and here under these little plastic covers. Okay. Dude, these speakers are so weak sauce. Just so you guys can get a better idea of how this works, door card just pops right off, and then you have your 3 screws and your plug holding the speaker in. This is the new speaker. It looks so much better compared to the old factory one. This literally feels like plastic. This literally feels like a plastic piece that I can like crush in my hand. There's no like substance to it at all. So hopefully these speakers sound a lot better. It amazes me how small, well, not necessarily how small, but how weak they are. You'd expect in a car that when it came out was about 40 grand to have nicer speakers, but I guess not. And these are just like so light. Nothing to them. The only thing I don't know is none of these speakers are labeled as right or left. So I really hope I don't have to pull these off, swap them, but there's no label anywhere that says right or left. So much easier than the head unit. Doing both doors literally took me about 15 minutes, max. One of the things I found when doing the door cards is you want to start from the bottom and pull out like this. And then when you get to the top, the door card is actually hanging on the frame of the door. So you want to make sure you're going up as opposed to out because you don't want to break off the lip in here. That is what the door card is hanging on. Other than that, it's so simple. I just did the other side, went ahead and got it done. Literally took like, again, 15 minutes to get the whole thing done. So now the final step is to install these tweeters. Here are the tweeters. They have a little kicker logo in there. Not like you're gonna see it, but it's kind of cool. These should be even easier, as all you have to do is pry up that vent back there, and the tweeter sits under it, and you get a couple of Phillips head screwdrivers and pull it out. So like I said, it just pries up and pulls out like this. And then I don't even know if I could get the camera back there, but the tweeter is held in by 2 Phillips head screws and then a plug. Just so you get a better look, here is the old tweeter right here, and then here is the new tweeter. And then the new tweeter just goes back in there like that. It is the exact same thing on the other side. And if I didn't show this earlier, this is where I ran the little GPS module for the Idoing head unit. Sticky taped it up here, and you know, it has to have some clear line of sight to the sky. And then I ran the cord behind the little plastic piece down here, and then ran it through the dash down under the glove box and over to the head unit. And now for the best part. No way. So as I was going through fiddling with all the settings, I killed the battery. Damn it. It's like freaking out up here. Okay, well, time to go find a battery charger. While I was killing my battery, I listened to some music and fiddled around with the settings, and it is so much better. Like, it is actually insane the difference that you get with just the head unit and some, you know, plug and play speakers. The camera wouldn't do it justice, so I didn't show any video of that, but trust me, it's better. Well, since I gotta wait for one of these battery packs to charge, thought might as well clean it. Well, car is still dead in the water, but at least it's clean. The new head unit is awesome. I wish I could turn it on and show you guys, but like I said, car is dead. I am still waiting on those battery packs to charge. But I swear, I get so carried away when it comes to cleaning the car. It was just gonna be like a simple wash down, and it turned into like a full detail, but I like a clean car. So I wanna start incorporating more of the kind of like vlog lifestyle aspect to these videos. I feel like the past few videos have just been like me doing installs, and as much as I want to do installs and show you guys what I'm doing on the cars, I want to also show you guys, like, you know, the lifestyle behind the cars and the things I do with the cars. So I say this every video, but it will be a lot easier once we have the garage finished, because honestly, it's just way too dark in here. But I think for right now, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of the new setup and what you guys are running on your WRX or STI. I appreciate you guys for watching, and with that,